This is podcasting without mercy.
Podcasting in chaos.
Which is kind of how we do it.
Yes, we do.
Welcome to the Wholesome Music Podcast, the DIY podcast about DIY music. Chaos. Always
and forever.
Always. We keep it wholesome through some weird shit. We do. It's always fucking weird.
It's a wild one.
And like the music industry is so fucking weird.
It really is.
And so we're here for it, right?
We are all the way here for it.
My name is Augustus Watkins. My pronouns are he, she, or they. I'm a musician. I do traditional PR, record label, songwriter. I'm based in Los Angeles.
And I am Cam LJ. You're here with us at Secret Spot DTLA. We're downtown Los Angeles' co-working space for creative professionals. What are we going to talk about today?
Oh boy. So we are going to start. We started last week talking about DIY music, and we got so excited.
Yes, we did.
We're going to do a part 2.
DIY music videos.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is going to be a cool topic. Lots of cool tips and lots of cool stuff. And even our first fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our first fight live on air.
About Lutz's. Pitfalls of music management.
Yes.
We kind of talk about some of like the ways that music management is evolving, what it means.
How does school help you if you want to be a manager?
Yeah, we talk about
or not.
We talk about music school a lot. A kind of a rising community backlash against AI.
Yeah. Continued.
We're going to talk about Downtown Music Group.
We are.
And their proposed merger or acquisition. I'm not sure if it's a merger or
it's
an
acquisition.
Okay. So Universal's trying to acquire Downtown.
Yep.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to do a brief update on SoundCloud's AI terms of service.
Yes, we are.
This is a throwback to episode 1.
Throwback update. If you missed it, we got more for you coming up.
And then we're going to talk about a new chapter in the ongoing AI slopification.
We always
Spotify.
have more AI slop to shovel directly into your face.
We thought we were going to get through a whole episode without kind of directly talking about
without
specific AI slop.
Kind of slide it to the side.
But like AI, you just can't be avoided.
We had to serve it to you.
It's like all AI, like you don't want it,
but you got it.
But it just shows up in your shit, and you're like, God, how do I turn this off?
No,
can't be turned off. And so once again, we're talking about AI. Thank you all for joining us. If you're listening, if you're watching on YouTube, or actually if you're watching on Spotify, did you know I've got this Spotify video now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's.
I didn't know you had the Spotify video too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're watching on, YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you're watching or listening on Spotify or Apple Music or any of the other podcast platforms,
streaming services,
please, what do you want us to do? Subscribe,
leave a comment, leave a 5-star rating,
and leave a 5-star rating with a couple words as a review.
Yes,
and then share this out. Follow us on.
This week we're going to talk about Superfans.
Oh yeah.
So if you can do the Superfan thing and share this with at least one friend, that'd be huge. Incredible.
Yeah. So on Instagram, we're Wholesome Music Podcast. As the time of this recording, we're not on TikTok. We keep saying,
but we will be. We will be. So, just keep on waiting, and one day we will be.
Possibly by the time this gets out, this might
by the time you hear this, we might be on TikTok.
But let's get into it. Yeah.
Yes, let's do it.
Here we go. Superfans.
Super fucking fans. We have not talked about this, and this is such an important topic. I feel like we should devote some time to really like talking about superfans and what they are.
Yeah, and then I think we'll use that, and then we're going to get this cool article from Music Business Worldwide by friend of the pod, Sammy Andrews. So what is a superfan?
Superfan. Well, a superfan is the one who's going to buy your stuff, buy your merch, buy your 1-inch album release. Buy your, buy your tube socks with your band name on them.
Yeah, because when you get your Spotify monthly listener thing, which are you getting your Spotify monthly listener thing? Because you are on Spotify for artists.
Yes, you are.
They will break down. They have. I should have looked it up, but they'll tell you how many people are casual listeners, how many people are like regular listeners. There's a word for it, and then how many people are super fans.
Yep.
And so the idea behind a super fan is it's like this isn't somebody who just like caught you on a playlist. That would be like a casual listener.
Yeah.
Or somebody who's like, I came across their stuff, and then like I added a song to my personal playlist. So like now you're like in their ecosystem.
In their rotation.
But a super fan is somebody who knows your fucking name, your fucking song, your fucking project, and is like
when your next show is
specifically into your music.
Yeah.
This is a big deal. So there's a lot of like monetization strategies and a lot of things about a superfan. There's the old, you've heard, you know, the old what is it? 1,000 fans.
1,000 true fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Theory. So what's that? This is old school, but it's. I think
if you have 1,000 people pay for your record at $10, you'll have $100,000. I believe that was the math.
That's not the math.
What was it? I forget what it was. I'm sorry.
If you have 1,000 fans who are willing to pay $100 a year for
yes, there we go.
then you got $100,000.
I'm like, wait, something's not getting it.
Yeah,
it's not getting there.
That was $10,000.
Why is it not getting there?
$10,000.
Why is it not getting to? I felt wrong.
But fucking, but like even fucking $10,000 would be nice.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that would be great.
So,
but if you can get 1,000 fans to subscribe to you for say $100 a month, you get my album for free on my website. And maybe you get some merch, you get a package, or just you buy something that's equivalent to $100 of value, or like maybe it's two $50 purchases
over the course of a year.
Exactly. Then you only need to do it 1,000 times. You don't need to do it a million times. Like we are all caught up in the streaming numbers, thinking about I got to get a million streams. I got to get 500 million streams so I can get some money, so I can get paid and make this worth it. If you can sell direct to fans and build that true fan relationship, sell something for $100, not $10.
Yeah, if you can reach 1,000 superfans a year, that's serious income.
Yeah.
So superfan is this kind of this new concept in the digital era.
I want to say it started like 2015, 14, 17,
it's
somewhere in
like
that.
a post streaming.
Yeah,
concept.
it's a post streaming concept.
So let's get into this article by Sammy Andrews by Deviate Digital. Sammy's the founder of Deviate Digital. The article was on Music Business Worldwide. The word superfan has become utterly inescapable. Segmenting audiences and converting high-affinity fans is child's play with the right strategy and budget, but the music industry is increasingly coming at it all wrong. Universal, which we're going to talk about, is publishing collectible experiences and new DSP partnerships. Warner has a superfan app in development.
Yes, they do.
And DSPs are touting new premium tiers aimed at this segment. It's clear to me that much of this is reactive and in places very superficial, a mass monetization land grab with little thought given to long-term loyalty or broader dynamics that underpin genuine fandom. That's the thing about superfans is like these are genuine fans.
Yeah, real fans, people who really want to listen to what you have to say.
This is fascinating. I love this breakdown. What defines a superfan isn't just spend. It's social signaling, identity alignment, emotional investment, and community.
Yes.
These people don't just consume, they contribute, create, and amplify.
That makes
right?
That makes so much sense.
Superfans don't emerge from nowhere. They're made over time through culture, content, community, and consistent interaction. They are lurking in and run Discord servers, seed content on Reddit, run and interact with fan profiles on TikTok, and drive narratives that transcend the music itself. Going back to our episode about what music like what labels are looking for. They're looking for that kind of real interaction, right?
When I think of what you just said, I think of, do you remember in the 2000s, there used to be all those like fan pages?
Yeah.
Fan page for this artist, fan page for that artist.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I think about when I think of the superfan as like a avatar. Like as a customer avatar, if you're trying to build superfans, thinking of the people who are going to actually go create like a fan page for your band. They're going to go share it to their friends. They're going to bring it to whatever event they're going to and be like, you guys should listen to this. I was just, the Pusha T record just came out recently. My friend is super into the Pusha T record. And so because she is a super fan, I have been exposed to the Pusha T record.
Yep. That's huge, right?
Yes.
That is worth so much more. Sammy talks about it. I didn't quote it, but she talks about not treating people like walking wallets.
Yeah.
But treating them as assets. The final paragraph that I kept. And increasingly, these communities are built on platforms that the industry doesn't control, including private messaging chains, which is kind of what you're talking about. These are beautifully messy, decentralized, and can be more influential than any label-sanctioned campaign. The smart teams have direct relationships with all of them and let them lead, not just start their own pages. Listening, watching, and analyzing a fan-led community is more important than just shouting at them if you really want to prosper.
Yeah.
So this is kind of our first time talking about superfans. So we've talked about what a superfan is. We've got this really cool, kind of a hot take about kind of what superfans aren't. Yeah. Which is they're not just walking wallets.
No. No, and that's just so capitalist and not fun. Like no one wants to listen to your music and feel like, oh, I pressed the play button and that's going to give them their money, or I bought this item. Like, you want to make it an experience.
Yeah. We talk about a lot about community building here. That's why we're here. So, and I think when the labels they're talking about, when the superfan is really short for somebody who's in your community.
Yeah.
We talked about offline. Remember we talked about the kind of like halo of influence? There's also that thing too.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for this, but there's a theory of marketing where it's like, you're like the outer layer of marketing is just like getting people aware of you.
Yes.
Like
brand awareness.
Yeah. This is also kind of the idea of a sales funnel, although I think funnels are not the right way to look at it for music, for content.
Yeah.
And then you kind of selling increasing amounts of access to you at different prices. And at a certain point, like, and so super fans are kind of in that kind of inner circle where they're like, they have more access to you because they're, and it's not just because they're paying more.
No,
it's because it means more to them.
Yeah. They're actually invested emotionally in the product, in what you're making.
So they're in your community.
Yeah.
They're not just people who spend a shitload of money. So like building this idea of building super fans and generating, like converting fans into super fans, doing a sales funnel or like getting people into increasing the amounts of access. That's important for artists to build a career.
What do you think builds a super fan? What steps do you think, if you've got, let's just say I have 10,000 people who follow me, but right now my engagement is pretty low or pretty mid. How do I build those relationships? How do I create a super fan?
I think a lot of it has to do with telling, not in a negative way, but telling people what you're not.
Expound on that.
There's this idea, and we talked about this a little bit, about how you're trying to like be, you can't be everything to everybody.
No.
You are going to have to face a lot of rejection. Like there's a lot more people aren't going to like you
than are going to like you.
Right? Like I always, like, people kind of laugh, but it's like, I always like talk about Taylor Swift, who's like this mega artist, and then basically everybody I know fucking hates her.
Yeah, nobody likes Taylor Swift.
Successful. Yeah, and everybody I know fucking hates her. So like that should tell you something, right?
Yeah.
Like success is not about being universally liked.
No.
Like I don't want to use Taylor Swift as an avatar for this though. So like.
You have all the Swifties coming after you.
Yeah, well, there's that.
I hate the Wholesome Music Podcast. They hate Taylor.
Yeah, shout out to Taylor Swift, friend of the pod. I would say that understanding that, like, all right, so I'm not like, I'm a, you know, I don't know, like I'm a
pop band, but maybe this record that I released has some metal elements, but because the metal element people, the people who really are into metal hated it, doesn't mean the people who listen to me because I'm a pop punk band don't still love what I make.
This is what I'm about, right? I'm about pop punk, which means that I'm not about, even though like I might fuck with it, but like as an artist, as an identity, like I'm not doing classical music.
Yeah.
Or if I am doing something with classical music, it's through a pop punk lens.
Yes.
Because I'm a pop punk artist. Like,
exactly.
It's about what I am and it's about what I'm not. It's about having that identity. I think it goes back to that values, the adding value to your communities discussion we had, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, you're creating super fans by being being like, I don't like the word, but like adding value to them online, right? Are you worried about that?
No.
Okay. Like the adding value to them online, meaning that you're like adding value to their lives, right? You're not extracting from them.
You are literally giving back out.
Yes, you are speaking to them.
Yes.
Right? And that's like, so it's like, it's about knowing like who you are and what your identity is and what you are about, what you're not about. And I definitely like, I struggle with this like a little bit because I'm a shy gal.
Yes.
But like, how do you kind of say who you are and what you're about and what you stand for, what you support, what your causes are, what means something to you, because those people are going to come into you and some of those people are going to fuck with you so hard. And they're going to have some fucking money. And they might become a super fan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Creating those avenues for people to connect with you genuinely, like being, it's such shitty advice, but being yourself, being authentically you in the ways that some people don't like. And being authentically you in the ways that other people are like, you should probably turn that down.
Yep.
If you can do that, the people who who are also being told to turn down are going to be like, yeah, but they do it.
Yeah.
They go for the whole self, and I resonate with that, and I want to support you because you give your whole self the way I wish that I could.
Yes, that is like that's the avenue to building superfans.
Yeah.
So it's about just like genuinely being like kind of everything we've talked about up to this point. And we'll continue to talk about is like those are the avenues to making a superfan. And I love this take because it's really about like not treating them as
a monetizable guinea pig of cash.
Yeah.
Well, and it's they touch on this in the article. It has become such a ubiquitous term to be like, well, how many super fans do they have?
Yep.
Or like how engaged is your audience? And I think that can feel hyper transactional in this particular space when we're talking about being less transactional, when we're talking about building relationships with individuals in a non-transactional way.
Yeah. So like we talked was it last week or 2 weeks ago about what it means to add value. And that is like the conversation that leads to this.
Yeah, it
like,
is.
If you're adding value to them, then you can create super fans.
You can.
Was that last week or was that 2 weeks ago?
I think that was 2 weeks ago.
I do too. Okay, so like, shout out to episode 6.
Episode number 6.
So if you haven't seen episode 6 or listened to episode 6, maybe go back and
rewatch, check it out.
Yeah, listen to that as a way to get a sense of what might be to build super fans. And then obviously like leave some comments, share with us what you think.
Yes.
What are your superfan strategies? What do you know about superfans? What does a superfan mean to you? How do you build superfans? Are you a superfan?
Yes.
Actually, if you are,
what are you a superfan of? That's what I want to know down in the comments.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What are you a superfan of?
Yeah.
What do you get so excited about that you want to share it with your friends?
Yeah. What are you a superfan of?
Right now?
Yeah.
Right now, I am a superfan of Whoa.
Oh,
There's an artist right now who's new to LA.
Yeah.
His name is Whoa, W-A-U-X.
W-E-A-U-X.
Thank you so much. But amazing music. I've been just consuming everything. So yeah. What about you? What are you feeling what are you a super fan of?
What am I a super fan of right now? I'm like a super fan of the community that I'm in.
Yes.
Like the open mic community that I'm in.
The Oxcord community.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm really invested in this community and like and put a lot of my money and resources into this community that we're building.
Into building it up and growing a safe space for people.
That's why we're fucking on this podcast.
That's why we're doing this.
Like that's like definitely like what I'm driven to do. My super fans, like I'm an astrology super fan.
Yes.
I'm a fucking nerd, you know.
Yes.
So if there was an artist, for instance, I definitely, this is like a cool example. Like if there's an artist out there that uses astrology in ways that would interest me, that would pique my interest because I'm interested in astrology. And
it's something specific that are like fans can latch onto. That's authentic to the artist.
So that's like a cool example that I didn't mean to it's a cool example.
I think it's a great example.
Somebody out there could kind of capture me as like a person who's interested in both these things. And like that would grab me for sure. Come on.
Limp Biscuit.
Welcome to the Wholesome Music Podcast.
Welcome back.
So we are going to talk. Last week we talked about music videos.
Yes, we did.
We got both really pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
So we're kind of we thought like let's do kind of a second round about this.
Yeah.
You are a professional video person.
Yeah, you could call me that.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the revenue stream.
That's my job. That's what I do.
So we are in the presence of your cameras here.
All of the cameras.
And so you are. So and we got pretty excited about this. So we're gonna talk. We're gonna do a part 2 about indie music videos. So we're talking about kind of DIY indie music video production.
Yes.
Let's start with a really simple one. When should you shoot vertical and when should you shoot horizontal?
You should always shoot both. But
that's a hot take.
Yeah, it is. And it's an obnoxious take if you actually have to do it, which I do. But if you can, I would say shoot both because like if you're doing anything that's going to go out to YouTube, going to go out to a website, going to go out to like Netflix, any large any large like streaming platform.
Vimeo.
Yep, that's all going to be horizontal work.
Bandcamp does music videos, by the way.
So if you want to jump in on Bandcamp, shoot your music video horizontal for that.
Yep.
I think, when we're talking about vertical, obviously, just jumping back for a second, vertical would be all your social medias,
right.
TikTok, Instagram, whatever,
right.
whatever social media you're going to. Great for stories, but what I was going to say is it would make so much more sense if you can chop it. So if you shoot in horizontal, and then you can always chop horizontal to vertical, but you can't take vertical and take it horizontal.
Okay.
I will say, depending on what you're doing, it's going to be easier. If it's something like really, really locked off, everything's on a tripod, it's going to be pretty easy to turn like to something vertical if you shot it horizontal.
So something wide, because I actually did that for an Apology Kink music video.
Okay.
So like I did for the Let Me Be Your Heartthrob music video. I shot it, I shot and edited it horizontally, and I was like, you know what, I can do this. And, and it really, honestly, it was a simple video, but it was barely any work to
convert it over.
Yeah. So like I like also do video, but but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
It wasn't crazy.
Do you think in terms of like maybe horizontal being for like more long-term permanent stuff, and vertical for more like in the moment social media, consume once, be done kind of
yes
mindset?
And no. I think if you're trying to do something specifically for like TikTok or Instagram or any other like format, even if you're doing it for like I know some people who get a lot out of the Snapchat stories.
All right.
So if you're producing content for any one of those areas, then I would say you can expect that content to live for a long time. True. It's just maybe aimed at a different platform.
True. Okay.
What do you think? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of mine. I kind of thought of it like, temporary versus permanent, like quick consumption versus something. But like,
if you're on a budget, I would say shoot horizontal and plan to crop in and edit that and think about when you're shooting, trying to keep your subject as in the center of the frame as you can. That way, when you're chopping later, you're not trying to have to move the frame back and forth to get your subject back in frame.
So what are some ways to do cheap DIY indie music videos? What are some things that you've learned over the years to make good? Because you've made some banger videos on some low ass budgets. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You can make a video. So one, your phone is not your enemy.
No, that's true.
Like your phone is actually your friend.
Yep.
So like, don't be afraid to use your phone for production. If you're like on a real budget, if you're trying to ball on a budget, use your iPhone.
Yeah.
That's like the first thing. But I would also say like the first thing you should invest in is lights. Like,
okay.
The thing that you don't think about when you're shooting a video is lighting.
Yeah.
And lighting is gonna make the worst camera look great.
That's a good. So we have a light here and a light here, and then
two lights above us.
So like part of why this works, this like the DIY podcast for DIY musicians is because we've got DIY lighting going on.
Yes, we do, and you don't need to have. Oh, I got the Armon 600D. You don't need a $1,000 light to shoot your music video. You just need to have some light source, even the sun. Like thinking about where you're shooting. If the sun is coming down from like the left, and maybe we're facing the right, so we can get the light into our subject's faces. Yeah,
I shot again the Apology Kink video that I mentioned before. I shot that in my loft downtown because I had really good south-facing light. Yes. And so I was like, you know what? I can do this.
I can pull this off. Yeah. So I would say lighting is number one. People. Like if you are producing a music video by yourself, getting people involved, getting like a group, like, hey, can I bake something for everybody?
Yeah.
And that's a reason for you guys to all come down and be a part of it. Can I have a party and film in the party?
Yep.
Like how can you get other people involved in your production?
Yeah. And then also like on camera and off camera.
Yeah, both.
Getting people to run camera. Like I had I shot a live music video for an album, for a Bijou Noir album, and I just got a couple buddies, and I had we did one stationary and then one moving camera, and shout out to the homie Jeff who came in and ran camera for me, and then shout out to the homie Carlos who ran audio, and it worked really well.
I think that makes me think of a live show I did for a band I worked with I worked with them for a long time. I worked with them over and over again. And one of the shows that they brought in, they were playing at the Troubadour. And, you'd think they're a pretty up-and-coming bigger band. And
so it wasn't Pink Floyd.
No, it wasn't Pink Floyd. That was a different day. No, this band, their name is called The Family Company, and they're like a incredible kind of jazz band. They play a lot of like funk, a lot of like fun, like full band. Like it's just a bunch of incredible session musicians. And so I'm going to shoot their show at the Troubadour, and what they have is they have everybody bring a phone and handed out gimbals. So there were probably 10 of us. What's a gimbal? A gimbal is a little device. It's like a little stabilizing motor that you put your camera or your phone on, and it keeps it so you don't get shaky video. So
you can like hold it with one hand.
Yeah, you can hold it with one hand. You can hold it however you want.
And you can get one for on
Amazon
for probably 10, 20, 30 bucks.
Probably 40 to 60. Okay. And if you want one for your actual like DSLR camera, you're moving up in price, probably 200 to 400. Okay. And if you want like a pro version, then there's like the DJI Ronin. It's amazing gimbal. Sometimes you'll see people with the Ronin over the head attachments. So
this brings up something. The gimbal thing is you don't have to buy.
You can rent it.
You can rent, learn, like we're in LA. There's lots of rental houses in LA, obviously.
There's so many.
But like wherever you are in this godforsaken country, there are rental companies out there, and it's cheaper than you think.
Don't tell me your city doesn't have a rental company, because I know they do.
Started a camera company. Like we have Sammy's Camera.
Yes,
here.
Absolutely.
You can do a lot.
Half of the rentals that pretty much all the cameras I've ever rented have been from Sammy's Camera.
Okay, yeah.
Because they're awesome.
Yeah.
Great rates. And if you're renting, rent on a Friday. Because then you get Saturday and Sunday for free.
Oh,
Bring
nice.
the gear back on Monday, and you're paying for 1 day rental.
Yeah.
And then you have 2 extra days to shoot or reshoot or do anything extra you need.
Shout out Sammy's Camera, friend of the pod.
Yes. Hey, we're looking for sponsors.
You can hit us up. The other thing you can rent is spaces.
Yes.
Now you fuck with PeerSpace.
PeerSpace is the best.
Yeah.
I've had great experiences with PeerSpace, both as a host and as like someone going to look for spaces.
Let's back up. What is PeerSpace?
PeerSpace is a site kind of like an Airbnb or any other listing site. So there's a bunch of like creative spaces. It's going to be photo shoot sets, it's going to be podcast sets, it's going to be recording studios, it's going to be event spaces, and all spaces that you can rent out per hour.
Yeah.
So you could have a party there, you could have a shoot there, you could kind of utilize the space however you want, but these are generally like commercial spaces. And they're all going to be commercial spaces that are usually very well suited and have unique aesthetics.
Yeah.
So if you're kind of searching through PeerSpace and you're like, hey, I want
PEER space.com.
Yes, PeerSpace, like we're peer to peer.
Yeah,
peer
not
to
like
peer. Pure space.
But
no, that's a different one.
Yeah, that's. But you buy some other stuff on that.
Yeah, that's a totally different one.
What about editing software?
Editing software, any editing software, I think is good. I know a lot of people who've like. It used to be so true that you better be in Premiere Pro.
Yep.
You got to be in Premiere Pro.
Yep.
Why are you not editing in Premiere Pro? And then it was, why are you not editing in Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro?
Yep.
And now I think it doesn't matter what you edit in. So, like,
what do you use?
I use Final Cut Pro and I use CapCut as well.
Okay, which is on the phone.
CapCut, and it's actually both.
Oh, okay.
It's web-based, and you can use it on your phone, like the mobile version, but you can also have a desktop version.
Oh, okay.
And I use the desktop version because I think it's a little bit more intuitive for someone who's coming from nonlinear editing the way I am.
So when you do like our social content, that's on the desktop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pro tip for me. You learn something. So and then of course DaVinci Pro.
DaVinci Resolve.
DaVinci Resolve is an up and comer, and I think it's free, right?
DaVinci Resolve is free. They have a pro version of it as well.
But that's like aimed at colorists.
And it's amazing. It's DaVinci Resolve. Oh man, I might botch this, but I think it's the same color software as Ari Alexa. So you can match the Ari Alexa in DaVinci Resolve. So
which Ari is like a
$100,000 large format camera that you use to shoot a film. Cameras as big as our whole table.
But even like they have like handheld Ari. Ari is kind of like the digital, like one of the main standards for like high quality. Like if you have an Ari, you're not listening to this because you already know what you're doing.
Yeah, the Aris are great, and you can get like an Ari Mini.
Yeah, or rent one.
Rent one. That's the best way.
Yeah.
The only thing that I shy away from telling people who want to shift into, say, like I want to get a production camera, is like you're going to need more people to operate it.
Yep.
If you're shooting with like a Canon or like a Sony A7 R4, A7S4, Canon 5D Mark IV.
5D. This is a Fujifilm X-T2.
And that is a Canon 5D Mark IV.
So like this is prosumer stuff, but like a lot of great shit that you see online
is shot
and like on music video to television, formerly known as MTV.
DSLRs.
It's DSLRs. Yeah.
Yes, DSLRs, mirrorless cameras will get you a long way, but if you do want to move into those large format cinema bodies, just be aware it's going to take more than one person because these bodies aren't aimed at single operators. They're aimed.
Yeah, they're like big time, and also
aimed at a crew.
They treat color very differently. So I wanted, and this is the final thing I actually like. I had to kind of color correction. Yeah. If like to me, like if there's like one just like pro tip that I want to give to y'all about like making an indie video is like learn color correction. Yeah. Go on these websites that sell like what are they called, LUTs, which is LUTS. Go on these websites that'll sell you a 500 LUTs for $10 kind of thing.
I have such mixed feelings about LUTs.
Yeah, but like pick up a pack and color your shit because it's like I saw a video and it was really really cool by like and it was like a cool edit, but you could tell it was shot by an iPhone because it was just like it was just like iPhone color. It was like
the Apple log.
ProRes.
Yeah, ProRes, exactly.
And I was like, if you just threw a LUT on there or a color on that, it would take your shit from like good to like X. It's like one of the like just quick pro tips that I have to offer everybody is just like color correct your shit.
I think if you can get into color grading yourself, LUTs are so enticing because they are quick fix that you can throw over a whole project. But if you can get into like color grading individually, and even if you're just doing a little bit so you can learn it, I think that will benefit you your whole creative career.
Totally.
I do love LUTs and I love filters, but I think if you can learn the craft first and then use the LUT, you're going to get way more out of it.
But this is like a podcast, like there's like better resources for that, but
for sure,
but definitely fucking like
for sure like that we're in the weeds.
Get into color correction, because it really makes a difference.
And LUTs are amazing hack, amazing hack. Like
I just get LUTs,
a bunch of free ones too. Like if you want that, and if you're editing in Final Cut Pro, there are a bunch that are free
built
stock
in,
there. If you're editing,
it's like the built-in plugins in your DAW,
exactly,
and they're fine and they're great.
Yeah, and they work just fine. If that's
basically a LUT is like a
filter,
like a kind of pro level, like the Instagram filter.
Yes.
So let's zoom out a little bit. We're getting low on time for this section. Like, what else would you say, like, high level to like what makes a successful indie DIY video?
Concept development.
Yeah.
Concept development. Spend time if you're going to shoot a music video, you're going to spend the money getting people on board to shoot the video.
Yeah.
Spend the extra 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 days beforehand getting together and concept develop your video.
Yep.
So you're not just showing up day of with a camera being like, hey, what are we going to shoot?
Yeah.
Like you want to plan it out, get as many people on board, spend as much time as you can figuring out what you're going to need, what look you're going for, look at references, like think of like
lookbooks and references.
Exactly.
One of the things that like if you are like trying to work with a professional, one of the things they're always going to ask you is
references,
because like you can describe it like it's like I want it to look like Blade Runner, but like kind of like cooler, like a
which scene of Blade Runner are you thinking?
And you're like, dude, what the fuck? Just like so like go like spend the time, go on YouTube, build a little reference thing, and then share that with your people so that everybody can get on board.
Create a storyboard if you can. If you can create an actual storyboard, that's the way.
Yep. And like do that time, like take that time to ask questions with each other, because that communication is like really because video is like huge. We're all musicians here, so we know like how complicated music is. The video is like music cubed. Like just it's an exponential amount of difficulty that you have.
It's just a whole other language, right?
Yes. I would say like alongside with that is like the development thing is like get one of your like super like get your most like clipboard ass friend and give them a fucking clipboard and ask them to be like, especially if you're like trying to do the party thing where you're all like getting tipsy and doing like, get one person who's willing to be like, all right, here's the shots we need to get.
Shot list. Create a shot list. Know what shots you need and have a list just like that. So you can check it off. Be like, okay, we got the scene of so-and-so drinking the bottle. Cool. We got the scene of somebody falling into the pool. Cool. We got the underwater footage of them coming up from the water.
Yeah.
Cool. Now I know whatever shots else that I get out of the night are just icing on the cake.
One thing the last thing I'll mention is stock footage.
Yeah, stock footage is a hack.
Yeah.
Sound packs are a hack.
Yep.
That's another huge thing, is like adding sound to your videos. Even as musicians, we don't necessarily always think about like I'm gonna add footsteps. I'm gonna add Foley sounds. I'm gonna add the sound effects in the video.
This is pro fucking advice right here, y'all. That's fucking serious pro shit. Yeah. I never even thought of that.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
You got to do it. It just goes that next level up.
That's cool. Yeah. So I think that's like a nice overview. Like, if you have any questions about that, share like some of your music video tips or things you learned. And if you're on YouTube, share it in the comments. If you're on a podcast, you can DM us or email us. Or I think there's a way to make comments on a lot of social media.
Let us know
podcast platforms
if you want a more structured version of this, and we can give you a way more structured, like step-by-step guide of how you can create your own like DIY music videos, get the most out of it, and things that you could use.
Yep. Okay. This is Quiet Storm. Welcome back to the Wholesome Music Podcast. We're about to get real fucking wholesome. Everyone's a manager now.
Yes, everyone is a manager.
This is an article by The B-Side by Maria Picard. It is on Maria's Substack. Of course, the link will be in the description, the episode description. The music industry has always been defined by reinvention, but never has the divide between generations felt so sharp. On one side are the old school professionals who learned the business through years of trial and error, late night negotiations, and backstage green rooms. On the other, a generation of newly minted graduates and online course enthusiasts.
Yes.
Right? That's like a kind of a shade, but on one side earned their stripes in clubs and tour vans, the other in Zoom webinars and TikTok, and I assume kind of presumably podcasts.
Yeah, we're a part of that chaos.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
The problem isn't that one is right or other is wrong. It's that they're speaking completely different languages built on completely different assumptions about what success means and how to get there. As methods of teaching change, so do the expectations of artists, and the very definition of what it means to manage a music career is breaking apart. By the 1970s, roughly 60% of this is amazing. By the 1970s, roughly 60% of the U.S. graduates from music schools had interned at some company. A number that shrank to 17% by 1992.
Wow!
So in the 70s, 60% of music industry people had an internship. By the early 90s, which is 30 years ago, down to 17%. I guarantee that number is lower now.
Oh, absolutely.
These experiences not only transferred theoretical knowledge, but built instinct, resilience, and network know-how, qualities no classrooms could replicate. So I want to like break those down because I think those are really important. Instinct, resilience, and network know-how.
Yeah.
Huge, right?
Yeah.
Last paragraph.
That's like the most, that's the kindest way of saying like, get your nose, like get comfortable getting all the nose.
Yeah.
That's the resilience. The
instinct.
Instinct is like,
get fucked over so many times. You learn how not to do
you know how to do it. You get your muscle memory, get everything going. What was the last
network
one?
know-how.
Network know-how. How do you leverage your resources, your network, your community?
Yeah. Like knowing a bunch of people to be able to get shit done.
Yeah.
So in short, while diplomas became, and I kind of cut this out. She talks a lot about Berkeley having all these like Berkeley went from like we have like one school to like now there's so many Berkeley degrees.
Berkeley Online, Berkeley LA.
You went to a music school. There's lots of these for-profit music schools. We'll dig into that.
Yeah.
In short, while diplomas became more widespread, practical readiness has not kept pace. The shift from field-based training towards degree-driven workloads risks producing graduates confident in theory but lacking craft, instinct, and network, the very currency of the modern music industry.
Yeah, say it again.
Yeah, right? I mean, one of the things we always talk about is it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yes,
right?
Every time.
It pops up daily in underperforming managers, PRs, and booking agents who can talk the talk but struggle to walk the walk. So
a lot to chew on there.
Yeah, so you went to music school.
I did.
And so what's like, do you feel like that it was like a for-profit music school?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think that prepared you for where you're at now? Where do you land on that?
I feel uniquely prepared to I feel uniquely prepared to speak on this because I actually went to music school twice.
Okay.
And if you really think about it, I went to music school 3 times because I went to music performing arts high school, I went to a music college, and then I went to a music tech training school. And so I kind of got all of the different kinds of music education you can get. I do think for-profit music schools, like Full Sail, like the Recording Connection, like
what's the other one here in Hollywood?
Los Angeles Recording School. Yeah. I think those schools they're great. They're a great way to network, but they probably won't give you a job. If you're looking, I think you and I were talking about this at some other time off the podcast, but there's no real music industry pipeline. Like if you're going to be a doctor, you go get your doctorate at this school, and they put you into your residency, and then you get hired. And that's the path. That doesn't really exist for this industry.
No.
So for preparedness, it's hard to really say. I have empathy for these schools, because how do you prepare someone to be a musician? How do you actually give someone the knowledge, the skills, the resources, and the network,
and some kind of structure? Because it's I think. Because I didn't do one of those schools because I kind of was
because you were smart.
Well, I don't know if that I was, but I just felt like, look, I can get out and just like hit the road and because I feel like instinctively I understood that this was about industry. What is it like? Network know-how and intuition and resilience. So. This like, do you see this? Like, do you see a divide? Because I do, between the old school and the new school.
Yeah, I mean, articulate that a little bit more for me.
So at the record label, give take, we release a fair amount of reissues or like stuff from legacy bands. So like we have some artists who had some hella success in the 90s, who are still going, and the lessons that they teach us all the way, like we're always like learning and we're always digesting, and the lessons that we learn from those folks is so different from like the other folks, like from up and comers or like the Patreon kind of people, or like we have an artist who her thing, she has a Patreon and she like her Patreon powers her, and she's in some bigger name bands as well, but like she's got this Patreon thing going on, which is like the old school guys couldn't imagine that.
No.
So there's definitely a difference in like approach,
how you
mindset.
approach it, from like an older school perspective to a newer school perspective. I think it's challenging for schools because how are you going to teach someone to use Patreon? I think I went to the third school I went to was an experience-based learning school where they would put you in a school, they'd partner you with a studio and put you in that studio, and then your schooling was working in that studio. The problem is it became a machine, right? So then you've got 16 people all working under one engineer who's trying to give you this piecemeal, half online, half in-person experience, which maybe is better than sitting in a classroom and not being in a studio. That might be better. But realistically, the best value for your money is going to be to go intern at the studio and work your way through it.
I knew a lot of people who went to a private music school who were pizza delivery drivers. So I'd always be like,
music industry to pizza delivery pipeline.
The pipeline is real.
It really is.
I've seen it, right? Like,
I've seen it too.
How many times people would be like, oh, you're a musician? I'd be like, yeah. I'd be like, oh, like I went to music school. And you're like, cool, what are you doing? He's like, oh yeah, I work at Walmart. And you're like, cool.
I'm at Domino's.
So like, it's wild. So be aware of that. Like, but like, then there's like then there's the big schools, the Berkeleys, which are still legit.
I do think there's value in going to go to Berkeley, go to Juilliard, go to Manhattan School of Music, go to Eastman. Those schools are still worth it. And I think we touched on something really interesting here, which is like two different approaches to learning, like the conservatory approach, which I think there's still a lot of value in. I think going through conservatory training is super valuable. That's what I did for high school, and I feel like that's where I got the most of my formative music training. But there's still value in the more modern music school, but I would say not if you're it depends on what you want from it. It's going to give you a network. It's going to give you, if you're at a school with 10,000 other people who are studying music and want to make a career in music, you have just supercharged your network, especially when you like analyze that network out over 10 or 15 years and see where all those people who started where you started know you all have the same baseline, grow to over time. That's going to be, I think, the biggest value you can get going to a music school.
I've got a take about this too. One thing I didn't quote, but the article talks a lot. The article was kind of talking about how there's a lot of bad managers, and I do want to take a step back and say, like, I took a music course actually at UCLA, which also has a really cool music.
Great
course.
Music school.
I took a course that was taught by a lawyer, and he really talked about how, like, he's like for me to be a lawyer, I have to go to to go to law school, lawyer school, and pass the bar and do all this. Is like for someone, and even to be an agent in California, because
it's a separate.
You have to and there's like some licensure to be an agent.
Yep,
is my understanding. But to be a manager. You could just call yourself a manager, and like
in California, booking is separate than managing.
We should talk. A lot of people don't know this. Let's talk about the difference between an agent and a manager, because a lot of people don't know the difference.
I think this conversation is significantly more valuable when you're talking about like actors.
Yeah,
and I think part of the reason that it exists this way in California is because it's a film
and television.
Yeah,
so an agent is somebody who specifically gets you gigs.
Yes, they are booking you to a specific place, connecting with the venue, reaching out, brokering the contract between you and the venue, and getting you jobs. The gig.
Yep. And then a manager is your business manager, who's supposed to kind of just like help you run your business. And technically, a manager is not supposed to get you gigs, because but in the music industry,
there's a lot of crossover.
Yeah. And in fact, like,
unless you're with like a William Morris endeavor or a Windish, only I think Windish is gone. If you're with
one of the big agencies.
Yeah, unless you're with a huge agency, you really you probably won't feel this.
But I also want to say that, like, your small time indie DIY record label might do a little bit of management work for you too.
Absolutely, yeah. And
how do I know that? Yeah.
How do you know that?
We do a lot of, like, my business partner and I. We're always like, we often are checking each other and being like, should we be like, this is manager work? Should we do this? And a lot of times we're worth it because we want to put in the work for the artist.
Yeah.
But so if we've got managers doing a lot of work that labels do,
like the development, let's say, like the artist development, managers, I feel like in 2025 have taken on the role of what an A&R did.
Totally.
20 or 30 years ago.
The labels are doing less of that, and managers are doing it now.
More,
And managers are not kind of speculating and putting their money into an artist to build them up. That's true.
Yeah.
And so we've got managers doing label work, labels doing manager work. I say this because I do think...
And nobody getting booked.
And nobody getting any fucking money. So I do want to say that for those of us who are like in the music industry, who are like in the DIY, like guts of the indie DIY scene, I do think we need to be rethinking as a collective about our roles. I think we need to tear down some of those walls. I think we need to rearrange some of those walls.
Yeah, we do.
And like, I think like we're going to talk about downtown music. I think one of the successes of downtown music was they like was that they kind of shifted what it was that they were willing to do.
Artist services.
Yeah.
They're really pushing into that area of artist services.
Yeah. So like, in fact, like that's why we started the PR firm, was because we realized that like we were doing this traditional PR work for ourselves. Yeah. And we realized that this is an artist service that we could spin out and do it for others.
And we could actually make useful.
Yeah. So I think as music industry people and artists, we need to be rethinking those roles, and because we talk a lot about just like the grassroots redefining thing. Yeah. And I think this is one area that the grassroots can be tilling new soil, right?
Yes.
To mix my metaphor.
I want to dive into this really quickly, briefly. I think there's something about becoming an artist manager out of school that is disconnected to me. Yeah. I think part of management and being a successful manager is having seen enough things. Yep. So going to school to become an artist manager, to become a music manager is going to be is going to yield diminishing returns, because you're still going to have to go through the process. Yeah. The value there, I think, is in the litigious know-how, like knowing like the law and the structure of like what are song splits, what is copyright, what having a legal base underneath you. Yeah, that's going to be the value.
Understanding the payment streams of songs, which we need to do a section on someday. But
we do.
We will. But there's so much to do.
But preparing as a school, if we're the school, I think it would be really difficult to create a curriculum that you could run every year over year over year over year.
That could actually prepare you to be a manager.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's
what maybe they're talking about.
Yeah, I think largely that's kind of Maria's point too. Is just like you can learn what you can learn, but you got to get your hands dirty.
Yeah.
And I think
I just wish there were more schools, and I don't know anybody who's done this well, but I wish there were more schools where the school was literally, you're going to build a band or you're going to launch your solo project, and your 4 years while you're here, are you doing that? And your success is based on the success that you achieve doing that. That's what I wish it looked like.
Money, because it's like so much of like what the cost of getting a band up is the fucking money. So if you could apply like the financial aid and the stuff that you get, and then the structure from a school.
Yes,
I love that idea.
That would be. I just think that would be the best way to learn. But there's in the shortage of that, this is what we got.
Yeah, that's a really cool take. I think we should do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe let's quit. Let's cancel the podcast and start.
Actually, sign up for. No.
Yeah. This is our last episode. We're starting a college.
Sign up today.
Yep, bye. Quick news roundup.
Yes.
Our very first episode, we had mentioned about SoundCloud and their AI.
Yes, we did.
In terms of service. And somebody actually reached out, shout out King David, reached out and asked for some clarification.
Okay.
He asked, like, should I get off of SoundCloud because I don't want my music to be training AI.
Yes.
So Nina Corcoran at Pitchfork wrote a nice article based on the SoundCloud CEO's press release. I also read the press release.
Okay. Yes.
SoundCloud CEOs clarified that the site's current use of AI, promising that the artist content will remain unaffected, nor used to train generative AI.
Wow.
So, quote, AI should support artists, not replace them, wrote CEOs in his open letter. Our use of AI is focused on discovery, helping fans find new music and helping artists grow, starting with their first fans. More broadly, we use AI to identify emerging talent, personalize the platform experience, and support real-time customer service, all designed to support human artists and engage real fans. So SoundCloud, they kind of clarified.
Okay.
They're not taking your music and training it to, like, giving it to Suno to make music.
Which is what it sounded like at first, because they were like, we can give your music to any third party for use as we see fit.
Yeah. But they're not interested in generative AI. Back. Yeah. They're interested in like customer service and discovery and supporting artist creation. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we talked about SoundCloud last week. And I just
I host so much content on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
I host my entire back songwriting catalog is hosted on SoundCloud because it's just like the extension of my brain.
Mm-hmm. And also, I'll just say, so it must be a relief to know that it's
not like your music isn't getting trained on. Yeah, that's great.
I'll also just say, like, for all the people out there who like were calling out and putting pressure on SoundCloud and posting and being like, "Yo, don't do this," like. Keep up that pressure.
Yes.
Like, as a
because that's the reason that it changed. That's the only reason we got here.
That's the reason why I got clarified. Like, I don't, who can say, but it is, I think it's really fucking important that we keep up pressure on companies about
Yes, AI. Absolutely. And not just freely giving away our rights, especially as writers and as musicians and as rights holders.
Yep. So yeah, that's kind of the big.
That's the update.
That's the update on that.
And that's what you missed on SoundCloud.
Let's do this one real quick. This is like, there's not a lot to say about this, but I wanted to shout out this kind of was a manifesto by Emily White. We've hosted Emily White's content before. Emily White on Emily's Emily's Substack. The title is AI Music is Going Viral, but it's not what fans want. The seams of the music ecosystem are splitting, and we're on the brink of another major shift in how we listen to and connect with music, which I think is like a pretty important note.
Yeah.
That was a cool sound.
That was very interesting.
Streaming is cracking. AI slop is here. She talks about like AI being kind of the Amazon basics of music.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah.
That's very accurate.
It's good enough. It's not like what I really want, but it's cheap, and so I just do it. She says, I don't buy the idea that people simply care less about music today. If you think I'm wrong, look closer. Music culture is happening everywhere, but it's fragmented, which is interesting because this touches the previous article we talked about, but it's fragmented across Reddit threads, DIY shows, fan remixes and mashups, independent record stores, Discord channels, group chats, independent radio stations, live streamed music reviews, and Substack of niche playlists.
Okay.
That's like a fucking incredible list of places that music's happening. That has fucking nothing to do with FM radio and streaming services, right?
Yeah.
Fans spend hundreds on live shows, vinyl or merch for all sorts of non-obvious reasons to signal identity, taste, and support. Again, this is the superfan thing we talked about. Vinyl sales have risen for 18 years straight, and half of purchasers don't even own a turntable.
That's so real.
Independent
artists.
artists.
I got my first turntable literally like 8 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's brand new to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, but did you own vinyl before you had the turntable?
I didn't own it. Vinyl.
Okay.
I didn't. Well, that's not true. I did own vinyl.
Yeah.
I did own vinyl that I couldn't play.
Right?
Yeah.
So like, and this apparently is kind of a vibe, right? Independent artists now account for half of all streams. Even pop has gotten weirder and more niche filled. So I'm going to go on. The next platform for music won't be a streaming service. It will be a home for music culture. And I just think like that's like, I think that really gets to the crux of things because it's like, what was like, why was MTV so important? It was because it was a home for music culture. Why was Rolling Stone for so, or NME? Why were
World Star Hip Hop?
Yeah.
That was
World Star.
Yeah.
Great example.
That was one of those places that was the culture.
Yeah. Why is TikTok so important? It's because it's
where the culture lives.
Where the culture lives. So, so she continues, the rise of AI-generated music will spark a counterculture renaissance, which I agree.
I wonder what that, just to sidetrack briefly, I wonder what that will look like. I work with a specific startup app right now called Soundcloud. And they're kind of in this space of wanting to be the next app of the future, the next music place. And they do things like providing merch for their artists and helping you create kind of like we were talking about superfan services, so that you don't have to go through the work of going through all these things and being a place where artists can find early releases. But how do you really create yourself as like a cultural piece? I think that's something I see all new apps struggling with is how do you build yourself into the culture? How do you make yourself where the culture happens? And I think that'll be interesting to see what apps can come in and fill that space as there's more and more resentment towards Spotify, towards Apple Music, towards the huge streaming platforms.
So I think this was Emily's point too about like the counter, the backlash to that, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about zine culture a few episodes back, and that's something too that it's like that's a backlash to the digitalization,
to blogs and all of the vlog
TikTok
culture
and shit, right?
Yeah.
Where artists, curators, and most passionate music fans build worlds, share their taste, trade musical lore, and create culture together. She's calling for a sustainable, profitable business that puts money in the pockets of artists and tastemakers, that succeeds with its users and not at their expense. This is why I wanted to do this in the same episode we talked about the superfan thing. Because I think those ideas are conceptually connected.
They are.
Where it's like we can build and we talk about this a lot, but I think it's fucking true, and I'm going to keep saying it until it starts to happen. We can build a world in which superfans are putting our money directly into the pockets of their artists, and culture is being supported, and like communities are being uplifted, and outside of the structures of extractive capitalism.
And I think that's the full circle. What we talk about all the time is like getting away from these 360 deals, getting away from things that are just pulling your like individual fans' revenue away from you, and getting it suctioned up into anybody that isn't you. Whether that's your label, whether that's like your bank loan, whatever it is, like
your landlord.
Vacuuming your money, your artist money away, and whatever resources we can create or platforms we can build to help that money stay with the artist, I think is so important.
So always, folks, as you're like consuming our content, like if you're finding these communities, you're finding these resources, you're finding these opportunities, please share them with us and people in your community, because we want to amplify them. We want to know, we want to participate, we want to amplify, because we do. I think that's like part of
that's what we're here. That's what we're doing.
What do you got for us?
So I have an interesting article. This article comes by the way of this is Music Business Worldwide.
Okay.
The article is titled "EU Opens In-Depth Investigation into UMG's $775 million downtown deal." Do you know anything about this? About the Downtown music acquisition?
So Downtown is a fairly new company that grew really quickly. Yeah. And they were because they were sort of positioned to kind of take advantage of the digital music business landscape.
Yeah, and like the DIY music landscape almost. Like, you know, like they purchased CD Baby. And Song Trust, yes.
Curve. Neighboring Rights, Foundy, they own a lot of stuff.
They really kind of made their mark getting into that artist services like space.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like artist services, I mean like how do I distribute my music?
Yep.
How do I collect my royalties? So how can they get their fingers into that pie? And
so Universal's trying to buy them.
Yes, yeah. Universal is merging with them. Yes, they're acquiring them, and I think going together. The EC says,
which is the European.
Yes, the European Commission. The European Commission. Which has opened an in-depth investigation into Universal Music Group's proposed acquisition of Downtown Music Group Holdings. The EC said in a press release today, July 22nd, that it has primarily concerns that the transactions may allow UMG to reduce competition in the wholesale market for the distribution of recorded music in the European Economic Area. That's the EEA, by acquiring commercially sensitive data of its rival record labels. What does that like? Let's unpack that a little bit.
Because one of the artists, because I think a lot of this has to do with Song Trust, and because they do.
And can you explain a little bit about what Song Trust is?
They do. It's a kind of streaming royalty revenue collection. So goes back to the we do need to do this, like where it's
we do.
Like it's not just publishing. There's a lot of different revenue streams that come into like where your song makes money.
Yes.
And Song Trust is one of the ways that you can collect streaming money for your songs. So like, and that's like kind of like that's record agnostic. That's like indies use Song Trust, like they collect on your behalf, and so like indies use Song Trust, like majors use Song Trust because like they're set up to collect this data. So it would be like, so now Universal, if this goes through, Universal will have access to their competitors' data.
Yes, they will,
and that's a real problem.
That's a real problem.
We already have like a triopoly, right?
And it's crazy because I think, especially as we talk about acquiring, like the reason some of this data is so sensitive is because it's your social security number. It's your like what I need to collect your publishing data is very sensitive data. It's your full name, your social security number, all the songs that you've written as a list.
But it's also like how much money you're making.
Yeah, so absolutely. It's your bank.
Universal
it's your banking information.
Could take all the information that they had from all the artists who are signed to Warner and then use that information to be anti-competitive practices against Warner. So it's a real problem.
It is. It's a huge problem, and I think we'll have to kind of see how this works itself out because there's obviously it's not finished deal, but in looking into this is very, very interesting. And we'll kind of keep an eye on this article too. As it progresses.
This will be one that we'll kind of track as we keep going along. Any other hot takes on this before we?
I don't know. I think the entire situation is like it's indicative of the consolidation that's happening in the industry. Everything is kind of getting consolidated, and I think that's because everybody's trying to make their money, and they think it's easier to make money if I have more branches, more pieces.
Right. Which it is. And this goes back to, I think we talked about this in our very first episode, and we talked about it a little bit here, is like the more that consolidation happens, the more space that they're going to leave for the underground to create our own ecosystems.
It's also crazy to think about. I just thought about this right now. This is a $775 million deal.
Million or billion?
Million.
Okay.
This is a less than $1 billion deal for all of this data.
Wow.
Which I just think is interesting and speaks to the devaluation of music.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I'm kind of shocked at how low that is when you really think about it.
Yeah.
Because downtown but downtown has also already been, but they've already been spinning off their portfolio,
they have.
Consolidating.
And yeah, I think this is particularly more about like about publishing, about Song Trust.
Yeah. CD Baby. Well,
CD Baby. Yeah, no, CD Baby is a huge. Lots of people distribute exclusively through CD Baby.
Yeah.
Exclusively.
Yeah.
And they also do all of their back end publishing stuff. So they offer all of
they'll collect on your behalf.
Mm-hmm. So that kind of goes along with Song Trust.
Yeah.
They kind of go hand in hand. And I
CD
think
Baby is like a competitor to DistroKid.
DistroKid,
They've been around a lot
TuneCore,
longer.
CD Baby. Yeah. Those are kind of the big three, I think, of DistroKid, TuneCore, CD Baby, and now Lander.
And Symphonic.
Yep. Big five.
Yeah. There's so this is did we get through a whole episode without talking about Timbaland AI?
I think we did. Oh my God. I almost brought you a story about AI today, but I think we'll save it.
Yeah, we talked about we talked about the SoundCloud thing. We talked about some AI slop, but we actually didn't fucking talk.
Just because we have a few seconds.
You want to hurt us?
I'll hurt you. How about this?
Right.
I did hear a story, and we won't dive too deep into this, but Spotify's lax controls have allowed for Spotify's lax controls exposed the Blaze Foley AI song debacle. This is from Digital Music News, and I'll let you jump into it on your own out here. But yeah, no, Spotify didn't know that this artist was dead. And somebody made an AI version of this song and uploaded it, and it got distributed onto the actual artist page.
Yeah,
so which is very sad.
There you fucking have it, folks. We almost made it through an episode without talking about fucking AI, but we
had to do it to you. We had to
come.
Couldn't resist.
Get you at the end. So I think that's a wrap for us.
That is.
Okay, thanks for watching and listening, y'all.
Have a fucking great week.
What do we want to say? Like, share, subscribe. If you're listening on a podcast platform, give us a rating and
5 stars
with a
review.
Thank you. And then leave us some comments on YouTube. Share this. Thank you for everybody who has been sharing.
Yeah,
really,
thank you for listening all the way through. If you listened all the way through, tell us what you're a super fan of in the comments.
Oh, fuck yeah, I want to hear that.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Want to
know
what snacks you're a super fan of.
I like Doritos.
You look like a Doritos, man.